Hey everybody, this is Sid.
And I'm Nick.
And this is This Week in Cars. Nick, this week has been pretty light on news. What do you got for us this week?
So we're going to talk about three topics. The first is Chevy Colorado, the next generation. They just announced it, did a whole press release. So excited to talk about that one. Then Ford has announced that they are launching the Ford Maverick Tremor package. So we can get into that. And then we're going to talk all things that we know about crackdowns on markups. Markups are going crazy right now with these dealers. They just think they can charge whatever they want. And there has been some crackdowns by some big players, specifically U.S. companies. So we'll talk about that and everything else that we kind of know around that.
All right, let's get into it. So
2023 is going to be the release date of the Chevy Colorado. So this is going to be the third generation. If you know anything about
release date or release year?
Release year, they're going to start building it in January.
Okay.
In the Missouri plant out in Wentzville. So we're from St. Louis, so not far from us.
Oh, sweet. That's pretty awesome. So it's close
Yeah.
by.
Yes.
And they make a lot of the EVs and F-150s out in Kansas City. So technically, Missouri is a hub for...
I pass that F-150 plant all the time.
Yeah.
When I go back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the third generation Colorado. A lot of cool updates. I'm excited about this truck. This thing, if you haven't seen photos, it looks awesome. I think it has and it has a lot of the styling cues from the Silverado. And if you remember the older Colorado, it was kind of bubbly. It kind of had a bubble top on it. Mm-hmm. It was in desperate need of a makeover.
All right. So how much does it cost, and what are the specs?
Yeah. So we don't know cost yet, but they're doing 5 trims. So this is where it gets exciting. So it starts with the WT, which stands for work truck. Mm-hmm. That's the base model. You can get it with the steel wheels. Mm-hmm. Very limited options. Next is the LT, which is probably going to be one of the more popular ones. Mm-hmm. Then you got Z71, so that gives you, I think, a 1-inch lift. Yeah, 1-inch lift. A little bit more off-road focused. And then the new one is the Trail Boss. So the Trail Boss sits between the Z71 and the ZR2. So the ZR2 is the big daddy off-roader, which is very well loved by the off-road community, the older model, the second generation. But the Trail Boss, it's interesting because the Silverado, that is their best-selling model, by far. They sell more Trail Bosses than anything. And if you know anything about it, it has a appearance package. Essentially, it's off-road focused, has a little bit bigger tires, some knobbies, has cool wheels, has it just kind of has that off-road look, which is going nuts right now. I think that's such a big thing for a lot of car manufacturers now, to give this off-road overland type of look. But anyway, as far as specs, the Trail Boss is going to have a 2-inch lift, 30. What is it?
37.
No, no, that's huge, dude. What is it? 32-inch tires, 31-inch tires, I think. The ZR2 is going to have 33-inch tires. So those are pretty big for such a small truck. Mm-hmm. The Trail Boss is going to have a 2-inch lift. The ZR2 is going to have a 3-inch lift. So the ZR2 that they showed looks pretty badass. It came with it has an optional beadlock wheels, 17-inch beadlock wheels. It also has that sport bar in the back that you can add. So it kind of looks like the ZR2 kind of looks like a mini little TRX.
I mean, I love the look. All the photos that I've seen of it looks sweet.
I think they needed to to me, it looks like a miniature Silverado, which is awesome, I think, because I like the Silverado. It's way more boxy.
Lots of road presence.
100%. And the Trail Boss is pretty wide. I think it's like 3 inches wider than the current model. So also the the truck, I think, gained 3.1 inches in length. Sorry, not length, but wheelbase. So they are making the midsize section bigger. And this is what I wanted to talk about probably the most, is my biggest beef with the midsize truck section.
Like Rangers and...
Yeah,
and
they're
Tacomas.
just too freaking small.
Mhm.
Like you know, comparing a mid-size truck to a full-size Silverado, like it's so much bigger, like literally so much bigger.
And you know what? You're referencing like to the cabin space, right? So like
that, and parking it, and it's like 6 inches wider than a normal, you know, the mid-size truck. Like,
yeah, I hate parking a full-size truck. It's such a pain.
It really is. And then you get into like a Ranger. You want to hear something crazy? The Maverick, the Ford Maverick, which is Ford's smallest truck. That's like what Ford's doing is they're gonna spur the micro truck, the small trucks again. Like we're gonna see it, a bunch of manufacturers come out with it to compete with it.
So.
But the crazy thing is the Maverick is bigger than the Ranger. Interior space. I'm talking about interior space. It's not longer.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
so it's more roomy than a Ranger, which is supposedly a mid-size truck, which Ford has now corrected that. The newer ones are going to be a little bit wider, and they're going to be a little bit longer to have more cabin space to be closer to that full-size truck. The Colorado seems to be doing the same thing, where it's going to be, I think it's like 2 inches wider on the interior and like I said, wheelbase is 3 inch longer. Hopefully they're adding that to the cabin. They're only making this truck in the 4-door. So no more crew cab. It's only, no more king cab and 2-door. It's only going to be 4-door, because I think they know, like, they're just making it easy on themselves, and majority of people are just going to buy it. Yeah, for
manufacturing, it just doesn't sell enough to I guess make it worth their while.
Right. And who couldn't use the extra room? You can still get it in longer beds. So I mean, everybody wins in that case. You know, I think obviously the price isn't going to be as cheap as compared to a 2-door. But anyway, I think it looks awesome. But engine wise, gone is the V6, and they're getting rid of the Duramax as well, the baby Duramax that they had, and they're going with the 2.7 liter, so a big inline 4-cylinder. I've never really seen anything much bigger than a 2.5, so 2.7 is pretty good size.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. What about power?
So it ranges. So it's the same motor, it's just different. I'm assuming different tunes. The base model comes with 230 horsepower and like 260 torque.
Okay, that's so pretty good for a base model.
Yeah, I mean, basically 240 and 260 horsepower and torque. So not bad. But there's 3 engine models. The next highest one is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the top dog is called the high output. High output makes 310 with 410 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay, so
that's a beast of a motor.
It is, but it's no. I guess it's not. They're not going to have anything that is going to compete directly with like a Ranger Raptor, or at least not at first, right?
I mean, the Ranger Raptor I think is going to make like 400 horsepower.
It's the same engine like as the Bronco, so 400.
Yeah, it's the 3-liter V6 twin turbo V6.
Yeah.
But this isn't really like, they're not saying like this is our high performance truck. This is not their Raptor edition. I don't even think the ZR2 is.
I guess it's probably still too early for that too. They want to let the first year have their sales before they introduce something a little bit more spicy.
Yeah.
If they plan to.
The cool thing is you can get an optional. You can option up to the higher output motor. So even if you have a WT, you can get the 310 horsepower with the 410.
So I don't want to get too far away from that, but that's one thing that I wish more companies would do. Seems like now they try to package everything, you know? So, you know, a lot of cars, it's like, oh, you want the higher horsepower engine. You can't just get the higher horsepower engine. You have to option out or get this package to get it. It's kind of like what BMW did. You know, now it's like instead of that middle tier right below the M being just an optional engine, now it's a whole trim, you know?
Yeah.
So now instead of like a 550, it's an M550, and you have to get all the M package just to get that motor. Or like 340.
Right. So in the WT and the LT, you can only get the mid-range engine, but it's still, that's 310 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. And the ZR2 gets the Big Daddy motor, which is same horsepower, 310, but 430 foot-pounds of torque. So not 410. So that's a ton of torque, man. 430 for a pretty small truck.
Yeah. I wonder what it will tow.
It says 7,700 pounds max towing.
That is really good.
Really good.
Wow.
Yeah, this thing. So this is kind of what I want to segue this. I think this is going to be a super big Tacoma competitor. I think the Tacoma, it still looks awesome.
I mean, they haven't released the new Tacoma, right? So it's still
they're working on a redesign.
Yeah, it's still like the same body or same everything from like the last decade.
Yeah. But I think this thing would do, I mean, with the Trail Boss and the ZR2 package, man, these are going to be off-road beasts. And the problem is with the Tacoma, you can only get that one motor and everything. And it's a freaking
but you know,
wimpy
like
motor.
guys that buy Tacomas, they don't really care about that stuff. It's like they
don't
want
care about power, but it's still nice
they
to
do,
have.
But
it's still nice to have, even off-road.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not nice to have. It's just like Tacoma guys are like, I just want like something that gets me from point A to point B, and then I could dress it up myself.
Yeah, I mean, everybody with the Tacoma always puts, a million extras on it. I think that's the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the 4Runner guys. It's basically the same type of guy. And they don't really care much about power because if anything, they want the off-road performance, and they want the reliability, and they want the aftermarket support. I mean, a 2022 4Runner is one of the most low-tech vehicles on the market, but it's also one of the most highly desirable vehicles on the market, which is just shows you it's a different type of buyer.
Yes. And the resale on those is nuts. But anyway, I think the Trail Boss is probably going to be their best seller. I think to me it looks the best. I think B-Blocks look cool, but they're not like. I think the Trail Boss has that off-road yet street look.
So Chevy's going to be bringing it. I'm curious if you're going to go and test drive both this and like the new Ranger and kind of give us our thoughts on that, or give us.
I really want the Ranger Raptor. I think that thing's gonna be badass. But looking at this, Chevy outshit Ford on this big time. Like to me, the looks of this, even though the Ranger Raptor looks badass, like I already think the Ranger looks dated. In comparison to this. We haven't seen a ton, but I think Chevy killed it with this design.
Dude, I love like Chevy's new design language. I've always liked the look of their trucks. They don't quite age as well as I'd like them to, but I've always liked the look. Especially honestly, when GMC does it. Like it's just like it's incredible.
I think Chevy, the only things they have going for them are their trucks. Obviously the Tahoe, Suburban, those are going to be the big heavy hitters. And then the Corvette. Everything else that Chevy produces is just, to me, like kind of like Euro trash looking. It's just very unrefined. And like exactly like you just said, to me, everything they produce in 5 years looks so dated.
Yeah.
Because I think they're just trying to play copycat of European design, and they don't do very well at it. And then it just looks like crap. They use kind of crappy.
Nick, I know how you feel about Chevy.
I know. Bad.
All right. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, next topic is the Maverick Tremor. I got a lot of opinions on this one.
Okay, Maverick Tremor. Bring it.
Maverick is it's a revolutionary truck. Like they're selling record numbers of them. You can't get them. People that do have them are immediately flipping them on Facebook for like, it'll be like a $27,000 truck. They're marking it up $10,000, like they're a freaking dealership. Like,
yeah, I've been scrolling like markup.org. About markup.org,
I have not seen
Basically, a bunch of people are reporting markups, and it's like this one website where people can report markups, and the Maverick is something that I see markups pretty common on. That and like a Civic
Yeah.
SI, and the new Integra. They're getting marked
Those
up
are
everywhere,
getting
like
marked up
$5,000.
too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah.
But,
All right. Move on.
So Ford announced that they're going to be doing a Maverick or a Maverick Tremor. So if you know anything about the Tremor package, it's offered in the F-150. You can get Tremor. Then it's offered in the Super Duty, which is the F-250. Have you seen the F-250 Tremor?
No. Let me look
Looks
at it right
looks freaking badass. Like their 250s always look pretty badass. They're big, hulking, full-size trucks. The F-150 looks good, and the Tremor is their version of. It's like one step down from their Raptor. You know.
Yeah. You know.
So-
Last time I think I mentioned I haven't seen a Maverick yet, and I have. I've just haven't noticed it, and now I notice it, and now I see it everywhere.
They're all over my town. There's quite a few, but
Yeah.
amazing little trucks. I think Ford freaking knocked it out of the park. They obviously, I've heard this and I've told you this before, that Ford alone can survive on the F-150 sales alone. Like they're the best selling truck in the world. And I think what they're doing is saying with the Maverick, they're like, we're going to completely dominate the truck world. We're going to come out with, I still think they need
Well, dude, that's all they make. All they make are trucks and SUVs. So
I know, but I still think they need to do some work on the Ranger. But this Maverick is going to kill. It's cheap. It's inexpensive. They're targeting like millennials that, want an SUV, that like an SUV, but want the versatility of also a truck bed. Where you can throw your stuff in the back. You can throw mulch in the back. You can throw rock. You can throw a couch in the back. You can even tow. You can have a little trailer. You can run a U-Haul. And these trucks are awesome, man. They got the little EcoBoost engine, they got the hybrid. I'm more impressed by the EcoBoost motor. Puts out a ton of power, full-time all-wheel drive. It's just, it hits all the buttons. It's cheap. The inside's like a little gimmicky, but it works. I don't think people are gonna be upset about it, But anyway, my opinion on the Tremor is I think they had a good thing going with the whole Tremor package. It was, I think from an off-roader's perspective, it was looked at as semi-serious, right? Like a semi-serious package. The F-150 has lifted, it has off-road tires on it. It has, I don't honestly know a whole lot about the Tremor other than that it's their, more mild version of a Raptor.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are searching for it.
Yeah.
It looks good. All the press images that they've released about it looks good.
Are you talking about the Maverick?
Yeah, Maverick Tremor, yeah.
I disagree. I think it looks okay. It's pretty gimmicky. And my thing is, like, this is a commuter truck. It is not going to be an off-road truck. And I think they're kind of tarnishing the name, the Tremor name. Even though Tremor doesn't have a long track record of being like off-road serious, a serious off-road beast, or anything like that. But like, this is gimmicky. And here's my real thing. Is Ford going to make it an off-road truck rather than making an ST version? Don't tell me that you're going to make a Tremor package on a commuter truck, but you won't do the easy option that a lot of people want, which would be the ST Maverick.
I get it. So you'd rather have an ST. Like, you think that
100%.
This may
This
hold
thing needs
them
to
back
be lowered with 20-inch wheels, have some wider tires on it. It's all-wheel drive, dude. Get a little bit of a better tune on it. It's already at like 270 horsepower.
So you think this is more of like, it's a dress up? It's like making a vehicle something that's not really supposed to be.
100%. You're saying that this thing can be off-road, which it can do some, but it's not serious. It's built. It's like an SUV chassis. It's a unibody. It's a unibody truck. That's a perfect. My point exactly. It's a unibody truck, and you're trying to make it off-road. Put an off-road package on it. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
to me. When you could easily do it.
I also get that positioning too, because it's almost infringing on the territory of maybe like a Ranger.
100%.
But
they'll do a Ranger Tremor, but
actually, you know
the
what?
Ranger Tremor would be a great off-road offering. Then you'd have Ranger.
Maybe
F-150
it's more along the
Super
lines
Duty.
of you probably feel the same way about like the Bronco Sport versus the Bronco. Right?
No, I mean they're two separate beasts. You know, I think it's like people know that those are two separate cars.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Because a lot of
100%.
people that buy the Bronco Sport, they're kind of like thinking that
Well,
they got
they
like a
don't-
badass
yeah,
Bronco.
But the people that people that buy a Bronco Sport are the people that love telling people I have a Bronco. It's like, yeah, and then real car people or normal people finally see it and they're like, oh, that's a Bronco Sport, not an actual Bronco.
Yeah, but wait, like if you were to ask a guy that has a Bronco Sport, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I have a Bronco." He's not gonna say he's got a Bronco Sport. It's almost like
that was my point.
Yeah.
But this is a completely different beast. Like, there's no Maverick in Maverick Sport.
Mm.
The exact, you know that the actual Maverick, the actual Bronco is built on the Ranger chassis. So
yeah, I know that.
realistically, we're comparing the Maverick to the Ranger. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I see your argument.
My only issue is if Ford fails to launch a ST model, then they really drop the ball.
They can still do it, right?
They could, but that's more to my point. Why would you make a Tremor package? They didn't make an F-150 ST. You know, you're trying to be too many things. If you're saying this can be a Tremor and then it can also be an ST, like that to me says this is a gimmick. And the Tremor is gimmicky. That's all I'm gonna. Trevor Maverick is gimmicky.
Somebody must have rendered what they picture a Maverick ST would look like. Let me look one up real quick.
Yes, I have seen them quite often, and they look awesome. Because they make one with I think 20-inch wheels, and if you lowered it just an inch or two, like it would look like a badass little ST.
I mean, they made. All right, so yeah, I see one right here. It looks pretty badass. But they haven't ruled it out. So all the chatter about the Maverick ST, it's still a possibility, right? So
100%. But again, all I'm saying is, if they do that, why would it just seems gimmicky when?
No, yeah, I just sent you
it just
some
seems
photos.
gimmicky to have both. How can a truck be an off-road package and at least be serious about them both? They can't. Now, if this Tremor package is only like whatever $2,000, then I'd be like, oh, okay, well maybe that's not bad. But again, you're ruining the Tremor package appeal for. You're just diluting it, you know. Anyway,
Man, you're fired up.
I'm fired up about the Maverick. I love the Maverick, and I think they're doing the wrong thing here.
You know, so like an ST, that's the thing. They don't really do an ST of any of their trucks. It would be cool because it kind of brings it. It's almost like a SVT throwback. You know what I'm saying? Like the Brian Spillner truck.
And people want to do this. Like people, I've seen, like you said, you saw those render.
Yeah.
Well, someone posted on Facebook or Instagram, and it was like had a ton of likes. Be like, and actually, one of my good friends was saying that he would do the ST if they made one.
Yeah.
And I stand corrected. Ranger does have a Tremor package already. So.
Yeah. The Brian Spillner truck, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fast and Furious 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tuna no crust. All right. Next.
All right, we're going to talk about the markups, and it seems like Ford and GM is cracking down on a lot of the markups, dealer markups. So it says some dealers are overpricing such popular cars and trucks as the F-150 Lightning, which I heard was marked up in one case $50,000. So it was the MSRP was $91,000, and it was on sale at some dealership in California for $141,000.
That's
Isn't
crazy.
that-
Yeah, I've seen, again, markup.org. I've seen the
Yeah.
new Lightning trucks on markup.org marked up. Like they're marked up everywhere, but it's like 40 grand plus everywhere. Stupid.
But you've heard the Ford CEO talking like that's why they're going to go full direct D2C, direct to customer, because they're just tired of the antiquated dealership model. You know, people are going to be.
There's something. I forgot who. They were gonna punish people that flip it by voiding the warranty of the person that buys it.
Yep.
Is that Chevy?
Yeah, that's Chevy.
That didn't make any sense.
So if you flip a Z06, the warranty will not transfer, which I think is pretty smart. Like they should have done that with like the Ford GT. And I think the Ford GT really had something similar. There was a stipulation. There was because John Cena got sued by Ford, I think.
Yeah, because you have to request permission or something like that, right?
Yeah, and I have to own it for like 3 years or something minimum.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I just maybe it's kind of like if you do it and then the person that you buy it from does it, or maybe it's if you flip it, you get blacklisted from being able to purchase any vehicle brand new. I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
Because then it punishes the person that's trying to get trying to buy the vehicle versus the person that's scalping it, which is who you want to punish.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But either way, I think it's done to limit those type of transactions.
Or all dealers just go direct to consumer model like Tesla. See, that's my problem because I can't get a Civic Type R.
Did you know that Tesla and
MSRP?
Did you know that Tesla, they have, I think it's a couple 125 showrooms across the country? I think it might be less.
I didn't know they had that many.
I think I might be wrong about that, but I'm not wrong about the salespeople to get around the dealership lingo, because every state has dealership lingo that says they have to sell a car through there. There's no there's a stipulation
in order to sell the vehicle in the state, you have to have a showroom.
Yeah, like they're a broker. Like the dealership is a broker. Even if they're a franchise, they're still a broker. So a way to get around that and do their D2C, they do not talk about in showrooms, and they cannot sell you a car in showroom. They will get you on the phone with headquarters, and you can purchase a vehicle through Tesla there, but you cannot purchase one. They're literally called showrooms. That's it.
I think they do deliveries through the showroom though, right?
Yeah, they can do that in servicing, but not
in servicing. Yeah.
They cannot sell. But anyway, so Ford has warned about flipping vehicles to these, not flipping vehicles, but charging markup on vehicles to their dealerships, and they're starting to issue warnings. And the next consequence would be they're not going to get that model in the future. So they could completely lose the ability to sell a certain model if they continue to charge exorbitant markups, which I think is smart.
I think it's smart. I think something needs to be done. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody hates it. Like
the only person that wins, the deal or the car manufacturer loses, and the customer loses. The only person that makes out good in that situation is the dealer. You know, it sucks. It's like you were saying, you budgeted 40 grand for a Civic Type R. You didn't budget 50 grand. You didn't budget 45 or 47.
That's one of the reasons why I think I'm gonna try to get the Corolla GR, or maybe just go with a completely different car altogether, because I'm not gonna pay 10 grand over sticker. I'm not gonna pay 25% over sticker.
What did you find out from your dealer? What did they say?
Well, I haven't asked yet, but the dealer, I've been going to markups.org, and I've been looking at the dealers around town, and they're all marking up the new Civic Si $5 grand. So if they're marking up the Civic Si $5 grand, they're gonna mark up the Civic Type R at least that, if not more. But what you said was $5,000 from your friend that is put in a reservation or allocation.
He said he was 10th in line, and minimum $5,000 over MSRP is the markup. And they said you cannot choose a color.
How long did it take? How long did they estimate it will be before he can get?
Well, they said he was 10 in line. They're like, we don't even know if we're gonna get that many. You know, like we could only get 5. We could get 7. Who knows? So it's really
10 in line. And when did he do it?
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow! So he did it before the release.
Sorry, no. The week after the release.
Oh, okay.
Was that 3 weeks? I thought that was 3 weeks ago. So maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
But still, that's crazy.
It's crazy, man. If it's $50,000, I'm just not compelled. You know, so I still love the car.
But you could get way more of a car for $50,000.
You know, considering how much I'm going to drive it, if it's not going to be something that I drive, I could probably. We talk about it all the time. What would you buy for $50,000? You know, an M2 that's probably been baby by somebody. It's already been PPF'd and taken care of. Or, you know, Aston Martin Vantage, or I'm just throwing out a bunch of things.
Even a brand new or newer 340. I love
Maserati MC, the new Golf R.
Yeah, you're gonna get a Golf. You can get a new Golf R for 42.
Yeah, I get a new Golf R. You know, if they're gonna price it like that, if it's gonna be gouged up like that, then I'll just get a Golf R. And then Golf R comes in the manual too.
Yeah, Golf R is pretty small though.
Yeah. That, you know, I don't want to. I wouldn't consider it, but even the new Veloster ends only like mid-30s, not even marked up.
These cars are kind of gimmicky.
A GR Corolla is probably going to be marked up $5,000
by the dealer.
Yeah, at least.
I think it's going to be more unless Toyota cracks down on it when they start delivering.
Now, here's the thing: the GR Corolla is a limited number car. The Civic Type R is not. The Civic Type R, the only Civic Type R that is limited is the limited edition.
So in the past, how many?
Yeah, LE. I think unlimited.
How many years was it? Every year of a generation that the Civic Type R was released, that you could buy a CTR.
2017 is the first year that it came out for the FK8. And
so it was late.
Yeah, and they didn't put a manufacturing cap on it. They made like over 40,000 of the FK8s.
Wow. Okay. So my friend will probably get his allocation eventually, just not maybe.
He will get an allocation eventually. It's just, you know, he's gonna be paying markup price, and
maybe not get it till 2024. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
I would pick the GR Corolla over the CTR all day long, just because all-wheel drive.
You live up north, so it makes sense because you want that four-wheel drive.
Just every day launching, dude, you can launch the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, but it's a different vehicle. I get what you're saying, but for me, there's something about the Civic Type R, and I just love the way that it looks. I know the GR Corolla is going to walk all over it, but there's just something about it. I want to do a series where I get the vehicle and I have all my friends drive it, and then you could see their reactions.
There you go. That would do well.
That would do well. So I guess that wraps it up.
That does.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the new Chevy Colorado? What do you guys think about Ford's positioning of the Maverick and the Tremor, and if they should do an ST version, and of course markups? Can anybody get a Civic Type R for MSRP? Is any dealership doing that? Because if they are, I would order directly from them. I would trade in a vehicle, I would finance through them, and I would ship the vehicle and pay for shipping. right, that does it. See you guys later.
See ya.